Okay guys, hello. I accidentally left my mic on at the beginning there while I was setting things up. Anyway, today we're gonna go over Katakana. Because last time I did Hiragana, and there were some rules I actually forgot to tell you guys before. Well, not rules, but like things that you'll come across. So I'm gonna go over that really quickly now before we go into Katakana. So, just like in English, we have many different fonts, right? We got cursive, or I guess Times New Roman is a very common one that we see in texts. And in Japanese, they have fonts as well. So it's going to be kind of common for you to see one that kind of looks like this. So when we did ki, it looked like that. But there's a font where we do ki and it looks more like this. It's kind of mimicking a calligraphy pen where it trails the ink down into our hook. Same thing with sa. If we do sa, it's going to look like that, which you can't confuse with chi. So this is just something that you'll get used to over time. Memorization is definitely key here. So that's really, I think, all that I forgot to explain. That you'll see these different fonts. And to not worry, you'll eventually recognize them and you won't get mixed up or anything like that. Just like in English. Alright, so now we're going to jump into Katakana. Now Katakana is going to be sounds for foreign words. Every hiragana has a Katakana version. But because it's specifically for foreign words, there's going to be combinations that we won't ever see with hiragana. So here we go, starting with ah. This kind of hook. Remember, this one's going to be a little more angular, right? Not as many loops in katakana, which is kind of nice. We got sharp edges mainly. So we want to make sure the second stroke that I just did is really long, because there is going to be one with a shorter one. So this is ah. Next we're going to do E. So this one, we're going to do a slanted line going down towards the left here. In the middle of that slanted line, we're just going to come straight down. And E. Now if my voice gets a little quiet, it's because my throat has been having some problems lately. It's very, very dry. It's probably the AC running a bit too much. But I should be able to last throughout this. Then we got ooh. We can do a small, very, very small vertical line. A little over to the left here. We're gonna do another one. We can actually bring that closer. It's probably easier to have it closer. This next stroke is one stroke that we'll see again. A few different sizes, basically. So starting from the top here, we're gonna come over and then swoop down. That's ooh. Made it very small though. Maybe it is better, at least for now, to have it this big so it takes up the entire square. Next is eh, which basically looks kind of like an uppercase I. So we're going to do horizontal line. From the middle of that, we're going to come down, basically making what looks like a T. And then the bottom, a slightly longer horizontal line. So it looks like an uppercase I. And our last one, oh, gonna do a horizontal line. We're gonna do a T, small little hook at the end. And from this intersection here, we're going to swoop out. So 2 things I'm going to point out here for our first set. Let me go ahead and put them here again. So, ah, I, oh, alright, so a, I, U, E, O. Now the first one, it's actually on the worksheets that I have linked down below. I put in the first answer for you in the second section on the first page. So it's trying to tell you that unlike hiragana, there are long vowels that are represented using a bar. So the first one there, it wants you to take O, K, and turn it into katakana. Now this will probably be confusing to some of you. It used the bar with the hiragana. It only did that so you don't have to think about it. Because normally we wouldn't have this. It would just be O, probably another O, K. Probably that is what it would go out to be like. Either that or it would have an E. One of those two for the end here. So I didn't want you to have to think about that. So instead, it just put it in for you. So all you got to do is put in O. And then our next set, once we get into K, you'll know that that's K. So this bar is just taking the vowel sound before and making it longer. There isn't a thing that does that in hiragana. You just see it being longer with one of the characters, single characters. So that's the first thing about this set. I'm gonna erase all this. The second thing about this set is, if you remember from the last video, I told you that our ya, you, and yo are special. You can combine them to make new sounds with mainly the E line. Well, you can do the exact same here with these for this first set with small characters. Reason why you can do that is because this creates unique sounds that you don't hear in Japanese. So for example, the name Shakespeare, shay. The shay sound uses the little with a chi, basically. So, like that. Makes the che, she, mainly. She. It's hard. But that's in the worksheet as well. So you'll see that come up again. I'll probably add in another resource for you guys that actually shows you all of the special sounds that you can make. One thing that's also special here is if we take our U and we add 10 tens to it, it now becomes V, a V sound. Again, a sound that we're not going to hear in Japanese usually. So that's pretty much it for this first set. So a, I, U, E, O. That's their special thing. let's go ahead and go into our K's. So ka. Ka looks almost exactly like it's hiragana. Gonna do a slanted line, which is not the stroke order, but this is easier for me. A little bit down from the top here. We're gonna go over, down, hook, and that's it. Ka. Ki also looks very much like its hiragana. Small horizontal. Slight slant here. And slightly longer one under. And cut through. No hook down here. Just this much. Next is ku. So for ku, we're going to do a little dash, and slanted dash. And then that final stroke that we did with u, but a little thinner this time. So over, down, over, down, for ku. Next is ke. Slanted line. Middle of that slanted line, we're going to go out horizontal. There we go. And then middle of that, we're going to curve down. Final one of this set, Ko. Ko kind of looks like a angular backward C. I'm gonna start here, go over, down. And then a line. And that's it. Over, down, line. It could also be like an unfinished box, too. And then just like before, our K's turn into G's when we add 10/10s. So, ga, gi, gu, gegel. And I don't see anything weird for the K's on the worksheet. Just remember that that long line there, if I put it here, we're basically saying ga, ga. That's all it does. All right. Next is going to be the S's. We're going a little faster in this video or stream because, I mean, hopefully you've been studying so you know the sounds by now. Of course, if you need me to slow down, let me know, but if you're watching this after the fact, you can just pause. So for sa, horizontal line. Towards the left of this line, I'm going to put a small vertical going through it. And then towards the right, over here, a curved one. So it's like we did a ri, a hiragana ri, and then put a line up through the top. This next one is a tough one. Not tough to draw, tough to recognize. I'll show you why. She. So for she, we're gonna do what looks like slanted tentons. Well, tentons are already slanted, so tentons here. And then we want to start this next stroke down here. And we're gonna swoop up. Let me see if I can get this better. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna thicken this line. There we go. So I thicken the bottom here because when we're looking at this in like a text or something, you'll notice that one side is thicker than the other. I'm gonna force that here. There we go. So this side is thin, this one is thick. Now when I normally draw this in my own handwriting, I make it into a check mark, because that's easier. Now the reason why this one kind of sucks is because you really have to pay attention to where that thickness is, because we have 4 other characters that look almost exactly like this. Now there is a trick that I'll show you with the next set. But until then, this side down here is the thick side for she. Su kind of looks like another type of Z, I guess. So we're going to do that stroke that we do for U, where it's over, swoop down. Then in the middle of this, come directly out. And that's Su. Next is Se, which I guess looks a little like its hiragana. Its hiragana, if you remember, is that. So, for this one, we're going to do what looks like a slanted hook here. So, I guess you could just say horizontal. Oh, jeez, I can't talk. A horizontal line with a little hook at the end. Then in the middle, we're going to do that L. So pretty close to its hiragana. Now the final one of this, So, is one of the 4 that look like she. So, all right, so this time just 1 dash, not 2. And we're starting up here. So this top part is what's going to be thick this time. And coming down. So I'm going to just thicken that a little bit. All right, that's good enough. So one of the 4 right here already. Soul. And again, if I write this in my normal handwriting, I do like a backwards check. And of course, just like before, our S's, if I add tentons, become Z's. So we got za. Except she, if you remember, she turns into G. Now with our new she, it's gonna look like we have a lot going on. A lot of tentons around it when we turn it into a G. see. Anything I need to point out? Nope, not yet. Alright, so we're gonna head on to our next, or move on to our next set, which is T's. So ta. Ta is gonna look very, very similar to our ku, just one added line. So dash, over, down, over, down. And then in the middle here, we're gonna do a line that goes down a bit like that for ta. Next is chi. We're going to do slanted line. Directly under that slanted line, we're going to do a horizontal. And then from the middle of our slanted line, we're going to curve down. You want to make sure that you can tell that there is a curve happening. Because if we did this, that's actually 1,000. That's the kanji for 1,000. So you want to make sure that you can see there is a curve. Next is tsu. So remember, it's different than when I say su. Su versus tsu. Su, tsu. So this is another one that looks almost exactly like she. We're going to have two 10-10s just like she. But like so, we're going to start up here, making the top thicker. In some fonts, it is kind of hard to see which side is thick, so you're just gonna have to kind of guess for some. And then we got te. Little horizontal. Directly below that, longer. From the middle of that, curving down for te. So it looks like a T with an extra line above. Curved T. And then to. Gonna be vertical line. In the middle of that vertical line, we're gonna come out. Like a upside down Y, or maybe a branch, a tree branch, for to. And for T's, if we add 10-10s, they become D's. Da. And again, different for chi, because that turns into G. And our tsu is more of a d. Now, here's the trick I'm going to show you guys right now. So I'm going to draw shi and tsu. So this only works with shi and tsu to figure out which one is which. So I'm going to use their hiragana. I'm going to draw their hiragana around them. You can see that the thick part is touching their hiragana if I were to draw around it like that. So that's the only trick I have for you for this. And it's only for these two. You can't do it for any of the other 3. Because it doesn't quite work with so. If I put so here, like, how do we even draw it around? We can't. And just like with hiragana, our tsu can be a little tsu. So in the example that I actually gave you guys in the hiragana, where I used setto, this would actually be setto, like that. So that's the answer for number 3 on the worksheet that has the S's and T's. Setto. All right. We're gonna go on to ends. Na. No. So horizontal. And then a curved line going through it. Next is going to be ni. So for ni, a small horizontal. Directly below that, a longer one. And that's it for ni. Pretty easy, at least for that one. Next is nu. So we're going to do that one stroke I said, where it's over and curved down. And then we're going to do a line through it, not all the way through. You can see like it's small, but it kind of curves down towards the end of our stroke from the first one. All right, next is ne. Little dash. And then that stroke that goes over, curve down. From about the middle of that stroke on it, the back side here, we're going to come straight down. And then a dash on the other side. All right, number 4. That looks almost like our shi. So no, we're gonna start here and curve down. I like to remember no as being no dashes because we didn't do any of this there. It's just the line. So no, no dashes. All right. This side here, as you can see, it's this side that's thick. Just want to make sure that's clear. All right. Next, ha, our H's. Line here. And line there. That's it. So for he, I'm not going to do stroke order here. So we're going to do an L. There, an L. And then not in the middle, a little towards the top, a line coming out. So you could also think of it as like maybe an unfinished E if we went backwards to draw it. Next one, we use F for it, for fu. But it sounds more like we have an H though. Fu. Like it's a F and an H together. Fu. That's what I kind of failed to, I guess, explain in the last one. But it can change, like it can sound more like an F or it can sound more like an H. But when we say it alone, it's like we're combining the two. And for this one, we're going to do that stroke where I say going over and curve down. And that's literally it. So this that we've been doing is actually the fu in hiragana. Or katakana, not hiragana. It's the fu in katakana. Ugh. Coughed a bit there. Alright. Next is he. He is actually super nice. It looks exactly like it's hiragana. No change. Just that lopsided roof of a house. And then ho. Horizontal line. Vertical coming down with a little hook. And dashes on both sides. We can make them smaller though. Okay, and just like in hiragana, our H's have two routes they can go. If I put 10 tens, they become B's. But if I put the open circle, they become P's. So exactly the same in katakana. They don't have any other odd rule to them, luckily. Alright, next up is our M's. Ma. So we're gonna go over with a hook. And then a short line. So it looks very similar to our ah, right? That was our ah. So very similar where it's just a small dash there instead of a longer one. Mi is kind of interesting. We're gonna do dash, dash, dash. So the first two are gonna be the same size, and then the bottom third one is gonna be slightly longer. I tend to do it slanted, but I guess it's not fully slanted. It's more like that. I guess it still looks slanted. Oh well. I guess I can't do it unslanted. Because it should be like stacked on each other, but they are kind of going to the side. You'll see when you actually look at the worksheet. If you are looking at the worksheet, then you've already seen it. Next, we got moo. We're gonna start up here. Down, over. Down, over. And then a line. So kind of like an unfinished triangle. The way I always saw it, it was like, maybe like the nose of a cow. That goes moo. That's how I always remembered it. Or I guess it could also just be the mouth of a cow too. Alright, next is me. We're gonna have a slanted line going down. And in the middle, we're gonna do a small little one that sort of curves down towards the bottom here. It's very subtle. Mo. Mo, if you remember, that's its hiragana. So, for its katakana, we're going to do horizontal line. Below that, a longer one. Then we're going to have an L that goes through the middle. So it looks kind of similar there too. Alright, so if you guys remember from last time, the set that comes after our M's is a half set. Y. So, ya. Ya looks very, very, very similar to its hiragana. This here is its hiragana. We're gonna do a horizontal with the hook. And then a slanted line. And that's it for ya. You is gonna be, so we're gonna go over and down, kind of like how we started with 𝘿, over and down. And it's gonna look like we are drawing 𝘿. So we're gonna come here, go across, and we're gonna go just a little past to about there. And that's you. Next is 𝘿. 𝘿 kind of looks like a backwards uppercase E to me. So we're gonna go over, down, middle line, and bottom line. It's 𝘿. It should look, I guess, a little more smooshed. Like that. And just like in our previous hiragana, ya, you, and 𝘿 can still be used that special way. So if we have sha, we could do the same thing. It would just be sha in katakana. And as I said, this can be used with those other combinations. So I showed you che. What else is there? I don't know all the special combinations because it is kind of rare to come up against them, but they are there. Let's see. Oh, I know. Fu. Fu. Oh. So, full. That makes full, which is a sound, a special sound. Here, I'll get out the source now, just so we have it all written out here in the video, in case if I forget to actually put it into the description, which is completely possible. So, wait one moment. Ah, here it is. All right, so special katakana combinations. So let's put that up here. Special combos. I don't need to do that. So let's see. This is how they have it. We do u, vu, shi, ji, fu. And then up here we got a, i, u, e, o. So this is one set here. So if we do, so here we got, for we, because this is u, vu. Then we, wo. Here we have it for every single one. So this becomes va, vi, vu, ve, vo. Then here for she, we only have for she. Oh, I guess for Shakespeare we would actually use this instead of she or chi. So I guess I was wrong there. Che must be for a different one, because it is on your sheet, your week sheets that I have down there. So Shakespeare. Then down here for G, G has one as well. Becomes J. And then our F, ooh, we got fa, fi, fe, fo. Yeah. So that's one set of the special ones. There's one more that's part of this. So the other part, let's see. So we got E, U, E. This is gonna come with our T's. Looks like te, de, to, do, chi. So T, D, two, do, and last over here, 𝘿𝙊. All right. It's not super pretty, but those are the combinations. So that one and this one. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our R's. Ra. Horizontal. And then below that, the fu, katakana. Ri. Ri looks exactly like it's hiragana. No difference. Ru. We're gonna do slanted line. Slightly, I guess, curved more of a curved line. Next to that, we're gonna do the fu katakana, but on its side. So down, curve out. Next is re. This one is going to be that fu katakana, but on its side. So down, curve out. That's literally all it is. Just that. Next is 𝘿. 𝘿 is going to look exactly like a box. So line, over, down, line. It's literally a square or a box. And then the very last set, again, is another half set, guys. It's the W and the lone N. So first up, 𝘿. Gonna do a small vertical line. And then the fu katakana. Now I want to be super careful with this because if you remember, our U looks like that. So this is actually a common one that they're going to try and trick you on if you do the 𝘿𝙊. I mean, they're going to definitely trick you on the 𝘿, 𝘊, and those characters too, but this one too. Because it's just one line missing from this. Then we got 𝘿 or 𝘿. This one's a fun one. So horizontal line. Let's go a little bigger. Directly below that, it's going to be the same size, but we're going to offset it. So like this. It's going to be slanted, but they are the same length. Oop. Reason why is because we're going to come back up to the end of this top one and curve down. That one didn't quite go all the way attach. There. And then our final one. And so this is the final out of the 5 that look exactly alike. 1 dash. And starting from the bottom, going up. Like that. Okay, So, again, katakana is used for foreign words, including names. If your name isn't a Japanese name, you're not going to have it be in hiragana. It's going to be in katakana. Even if you have a name that sounds like it's Japanese, or could be translated into Japanese really easily, it's not going to be it. Unless it was originally supposed to be that meaning or word, you don't get to do that. If you only get katakana as your name. Luckily, Google Translate actually does a really good job of translating names, especially common ones. So like if your name's Andrew, Craig, whatever, John, you can even kind of guess if you have an uncommon one, you can still put it in. Just put it in how you would sound it out. So, oh man, I can't even think of, maybe it'd probably be able to translate Rachel. I'm trying to think of like an uncommon one. Let's say like Riley. Let's say that you spell it differently. It doesn't matter if you spell it differently. Just spell it maybe the most common way it would be spelled. And that way, when it's translated into katakana, you're using how it sounds. Not how it's spelled, how it sounds. That's super important. If you try to do your name how it's spelled, it's not going to come up very well. Let's see. Was Shakespeare's name actually in here? No, Shakespeare's name is not in here. That's okay. Oh, no, it is. I see it now. Ah. All right. I see it. So we were correct that you use the shi and e to do it. All right. Let's look at that for this example here then. So on the very last page of the katakana worksheets, number 6 and 7 is what I'm going to go over. So for number 6, it's in hiragana. They want you to translate it to katakana. Kusu. All right. So this, if we spell it out, it's she ku su bi a. That's how it sounds out. But that's not how you spell his name, right? So don't try and think that you can just take a spelling or guess the spelling and translate it over. You want to do it how it sounds. Shakespeare. So it's very close to just saying Shakespeare. So let's go ahead and just put this into katakana for you. So she, ku, su, bi, a. Oh, let's curve that bit more. There we go. Shakespeare. And for katakana words, it's okay if you pronounce it the way that you would in English. If I just say Shakespeare, it might take a little bit for a Japanese person to get it. I might have to like say it with an accent a little bit for them to get it, but it's okay. Basically, for Japanese people, when we say katakana words, we just say it too good. That's basically what's happening. When we say it how we normally would, we're saying it too good. At least that's what the nice Japanese people say to us when we say certain words that are katakana words. All right. Now for number 7. The reason why I want to go over this one is because it has a little something extra in it. Alright, so the extra is here. It's this dot that's in the middle of it. Right there. So this indicates that it's a name that you're looking at. It's either a title or a name. Now, in the Japanese language, you usually say last, then first for names. That's the... let's write this a little better. So last, first. That's the format. But if you see this dot, then it becomes... oh, I can't even spell. Oh, wait, that was right. First dot last. That's how you would spell it out. Or not spell it out. Oh my gosh. It's too hot over here. Sometimes it's hard to think and speak. But this is what happens. If you see this dot here, it's either a name or a title. I say title because the title of the movie Jurassic Park has the dot in between Jurassic and Park. So, first, last. I think it's because they want to make sure that you are saying it as Jurassic Park and not the other way around. Like, it's not Park Jurassic or Jurassic of Park or Park of Jurassic, right? Which we'll get more into why that could be a translation if we didn't have the dot. We'll get into that later. But this is how you would write out a name, basically. Oh, and let's go ahead and do this here too. So, che. Oh, we have the dot. So include the dot. And then ge, ba, da. There we go. So that's the answers for 6 and 7 on the very last page of the worksheet linked below. If you guys want me to correct anything on the worksheets, you know, feel free to let me know and I can release corrections. Otherwise, it is just for you to practice and go back to if you need to. The worksheets all come from the Genki workbook, which can be found on Amazon pretty easily, I think. It's Genki 1. It's going to be an orange, very, very orange workbook. Usually it is paired with the white and orange textbook. If you get the workbook now, though, I think it's version 3, and this is from version 2. So it might be a little different, and might actually be good for extra practice if you wanted. But yeah. Let me make sure that I've gone over everything you need to know to do the worksheets on your own, though. So let me double check here. Yeah. I think you guys will be fine with it. You should be okay. But there you go. If you have any questions, just let me know down below. Otherwise, our next one that we're gonna go over is some basic kanji. In the basic kanji, we're gonna learn about numbers. So that'll be fun. Keep memorizing hiragana and katakana. It's super, super important, especially if you want to self-study. If you ever get textbooks and things like that, you'll notice after the first 1 or 2 chapters, there's no more romanji. Now you might be thinking, what's romanji if you've never actually looked at a textbook? Romanji is this. What I did above, where I put it in Roman letters. So Roman, romanji. After the first couple chapters of any textbook, they get rid of romanji. And it becomes all hiragana and katakana. And then maybe around chapter 6 or so, they start putting in some basic kanji. So it's so important. This is why people don't go any further than hiragana and katakana. Like, they get very overwhelmed with having to memorize it, and they think, oh, I can just keep going and do this later. And then they realize a little too late, like, oh, I can't do that actually. So very, very important that you try and memorize this as soon as possible. From here on out, I will not be using Romanji. I'll use it within the first few lessons once we actually get into learning Japanese. But after that, I will get rid of it. But because I am presenting it to you guys, I will be reading out what is written. So you don't have to worry too much. Since I am going to also put in some basic kanji so that you get used to seeing sentences and things like that in their natural form. Because remember that Japanese, when you see it written, it's normal to see a combination of hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So I want you guys to get used to that as soon as possible. But anyway, good luck. If you have any questions, any issues, if you need tips, tricks, resources, let me know. I'll share them. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for lurking or watching this even later. I appreciate all the views. And of course, one last thing. I am raising money for my cat. Her appointment is at the end of September. If you can't donate anything at all, just if you can share the links with people who might be able to, that'd be great. There is a $1 option listed that is completely okay to do as well. Don't underestimate the power of $1. It's kind of sad, but on my Twitter, I posted, right? And it has 1,000 views. If all 1,000 of those views had given $1, I would have enough for Sasha's CT scan at this point. So don't underestimate just giving $1. And try not to succumb to bystander effect. But if you really cannot give any at all, just share the link, share my pinned post. That's all. But thank you again, and see you guys later.